My name is Tracy Bailey, and I am the current Lions Club president, and I'm just so glad to see all of you here. I'm going to give it over to the chairperson of the Lights of Love. I want to thank you so much for your generous support of your donations for this project. The project allows us to help individuals in our community. 100% of the money that we earn on this project is given back to our community. Thank you, Terry.
Hello, Coldwater. Welcome back. I want to thank the city of Coldwater, and especially Leo of the city, who has helped us immensely with the bases of the trees and the sandbags and the posts. He just does, his team does a tremendous amount of work for us. I also want to thank our gold standard sponsor, the Southern Michigan Bank and Trust, and Harold Schultz and his wife Jane for the donation of all these beautiful trees. This is a partnership with our community. We have the kids from the Branch Area Career Center that help make goals. We have the Youth Advisory Council that helped us cut the trees down and haul them, and the Interact kids that helped us stand them up. This year we have 13 corporate sponsors and 78 tree sponsors. That's a whole lot of money that's going back directly into our community. And as the Lions say, we serve. I'm going to take this opportunity and we are going to count the trees down to light them up. Tracy? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to go and turn this over to Tim Hart, who is going to make some beautiful announcements. We are announcing all the trees, and as we announce your tree, if you are ready, we will take your picture, and then we are going to post it on the Branch Area Lions Facebook page. Thank you for coming out.
All right, it's my pleasure to be here tonight. So here's our direction. We are going to start on the corner, and then we're going to work our way down to the end where, to my left, I guess. And then we're going to kind of crisscross. We're going to come back, we're going to go down Division Street, come back up, and we'll go back and forth between the trees. And then we're going to end kind of on the side where the museum gallery is. We'll go down there, and we're going to end on those trees. So we're going to start over here and give special recognition. We'd like to thank, again, the Lions Club, the Lights of Love, thanks the corporate sponsors, Southern Michigan Bank and Trust, JT's Billiard Bar and Grill, Carefree Dock and Lift, Edward Jones Financial, BJ West, Elzinga and Volkers Construction, Case Welding and Fabrications, Graphics 3, City Glass, Century Bank and Trust, Coldwater Methodist Church, SCP Corporate Quincy, Pure Envy right here in downtown Coldwater, and the Branch County Suicide Prevention Coalition. We'd also like to special appreciation to Harold and Jane Schultz for their donation of these beautiful trees, and this first tree, special appreciation to the Shopper's Guide. So we have a lot of trees, so we're going to kind of roll along. So if you're by your tree, they're going to take your picture right away, and then I'm going to keep moving so that we can get everybody's name here in a short period of time. Get ready for the parade. This first tree, sponsored by Southern Michigan Bank and Trust. Our next tree, in honor of our armed forces, dedicated by JT's Billiard Bar and Grill. Our next tree, sponsored by Pines Behavioral Health and the Branch County Suicide Prevention Coalition.
I love you so much. You get
Our next tree, sponsored by Coldwater United Methodist Church. Our next tree, sponsored by Century Bank and Trust. Our next tree, sponsored by Carefree Dock and Lift in Quincy. Our next next tree, sponsored by Pure NB Day Spa. Now, we're going to work our way back. We're going to go right down here to Division. And we're going to work our way down that side.
Let's go.
Follow along. It's good exercise on a cold night. Hey, we got the sheriff out here so we know we're safe. I feel safe, Sheriff. Our next tree, in honor of somebody special to my heart and Casey's heart, Gary Hart Haverhill, dedicated by Case Welding and Fabrication. Hey, Terry, get in. Take it. Hey, get in there. Wait.
All right.
Beautiful.
All right, thanks, Tim.
Our next tree, sponsored by Elzinga and Goldbeers Construction. Our next tree, in loving memory of Jeff Gilchrist and Christine Forrester, dedicated by City Glass. Our next tree, sponsored by Edward Jones, financial advisor, BJ West. He's working the sound right now, so we'll get his picture shortly. He's looking good anyway. Our next tree, sponsored by Graphics 3. Our next tree, sponsored by SCP Corporation, Sue Denton. Our next tree, sponsored by JT's Billiard Bar and Grill. They've sponsored a couple of trees here tonight. Our next tree, sponsored in honor of Tony Huffman, Joan and Thomas Huffman, dedicated by Terry Huffman and Sam Huffman, sponsored by the Branch Area Food Pantry, providing food and hope, and supported by Leo's Club, young people serving as positive agents of change.
Okay, can you get us on here?
Yeah.
We gotta make sure you get the picture too, or the tree.
Thank you.
Very nice. It's always good to have people out here. Our next tree, in honor of Forrest and Kathleen Pease, dedicated by Phil and Sandra Simon, Terry Huffman, and Fred and Deborah Swihart. Our next tree, sponsored by the Chicago Street Pub. Let's all be thankful and kind. Steve Myers. Our next tree, sponsored by Coldwater Auto Service. Our next tree, sponsored by the Youth Advisory Council, the Branch County Community Foundation. Our next tree, sponsored by the Young Professionals of Branch County. Hey, and also people, if you're a little cold, there's hot chocolate up front and popcorn, so stop up front by the Lions tent. Our next one, in memory of our loved ones. Our next tree, in loving memory of Lyle and Mary Jean Motter, we miss you, dedicated by Judith Motter. Our next tree is in honor of the Branch County Lions Vision Program, sponsored by the Presbyterian Health Clinic. Love Wins, the First Presbyterian Church here in Coldwater.
Real pretty.
Our next tree, in memory of Maureen Petsko, dedicated by the Petsko family.
Do you want to do this one too?
I'll come back up. It's got a sign on the other side.
Okay.
Our next tree, in honor of Matthew Carl Murphy, dedicated by Michael and Teresa Murphy.
Everybody's doing it.
Our next tree, in memory of Ben Merritt II and Benjamin Merritt, dedicated by the Rosie and Merritt family.
Yes. By the tree more, yeah. Yeah, shine it down. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Living on the branch.
Our next tree, in memory of Casey and Sydney Donay, dedicated by Donay's on-time service. Our next tree, dedicated to Christine Berry and Amanda Buckland, sponsored by Integrity Apparel. Our next tree is dedicated to foster children, and foster families. Sponsored by Munchkin Land Group Child Care of Home.
Hey, put your hands down. Try not to get.
1, 2, 3.
Just 1 second. Look at this guy.
All right, our next tree
Gotcha.
has quite a group.
All right. Oh my gosh.
In memory of Christian J. Blansett. Dedicated by family and friends of Christian Blansett.
Okay. Ready? Wait, everybody get.
Trying to get everybody, and they got lots of people.
I got everyone.
That is beautiful.
That's awesome, you
That
guys.
is very beautiful. Thank you for being out here
coming
tonight.
out.
Our next tree is sponsored by John Fuller, State Farm. Our next tree, sponsored or dedicated by the Lamotte and Daoud families. Our next tree is in honor of Richard and Marilyn King, dedicated by Mark King, Rick King, Robbie Senish, Dawn Feltz, and Sherry King.
Is he with you?
Come to the light.
All right, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna go back and forth here. Our next tree over here is sponsored by the Broadway Grill. Our next tree in memory of Fremont and Sandy Winchell, Elmer and Jermaine Hemker, dedicated by Kim and Tom Hemker. Our next tree in honor of Joanne Zabonik, dedicated by Robert Zabonik, John Zabonik, and Leslie Parshall. So let's keep track. So this one.
We go to We got that one.
Yes, that one.
Yep, favorite.
Our next tree is sponsored by the Commercial Sports Bar. Our next tree dedicated to Jane Daly Randall in honor of Olin Daly, dedicated by Daly Tire Company. Our next tree in memory of those who have passed, dedicated by St. Mark's Church. Our next tree is sponsored by Adult and Pediatric Dental Care. Our next tree is sponsored by St. Mark's Episcopal Church. As you can tell, a lot of sponsors out here tonight. Our next tree is sponsored by the Coldwater Elks. Our next tree in honor of Warden and Nellie Holland, dedicated by Cutting Edge Building Solutions, Penny Lane Boutique, the Penny Lane Boutique, and the Cole family. Let's say Cutting Edge Building Solutions, Penny Lane Boutique, and the Cole family. It takes a moment sometimes.
All right, just a second. You guys get there.
Everybody over here.
All right, ready?
Come on.
Our next tree is sponsored by the Dance Factory.
Really pretty.
Thank you.
Our next tree is dedicated to all of our wonderful patrons, sponsored by Jeannie's Diner. Our next tree, decorated beautifully, sponsored by the Laurels of Coldwater. Our next tree in honor of Joanne Zabonik, dedicated by the grandchildren, Stephanie and Nick Parshall, Rachel, Sarah, and Jacob Zabonik. Our next tree is sponsored by Vested Risk Strategies. Our next tree is in memory of the Zimmerman and Kelly families, dedicated by Brenda Kelly. We miss you, Doug. Our next tree is sponsored by Grand Reflections. Our next tree is in honor of Kim Sprague, dedicated by Kaylee, Joe, Owen, and LFL Bauer.
Beautiful family. I love your tree.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
You got a really weird light.
Our next tree is in memory of Barbara Urich, dedicated by Louis Urich and the girls.
Okay, let me get them and I'll be right over. Okay, and then we got a light on. I gotcha.
Thank you.
All right, here we go.
The car.
Our next tree is in honor of Robert Brown, Brownie, dedicated by Doris Brown, John, Renee, and Jenna
Thank
Bolash,
you for everything.
and Terry and Karen Powers. Our next tree is in honor of my dad, Louis LaPratte, dedicated by Penny's Cleaning Service, Penny Rogers.
Is that your tree? Want your picture? Sure. All right.
Our next tree, in honor of our patrons, dedicated by the Lamplighter Cocktail and Burger Bar. Our next tree is in honor of Richard and Dolores White, dedicated by Lori Nelson. Our next one is in memory of Dwayne F. Schrader, dedicated with love from his wife Connie and his son Dwayne.
Thank you.
Our next tree is in memory of Mary Jean Motter and Evelyn Yearling, dedicated by Kathy and Moose Motter. Our next tree is sponsored by the Willows Bar and Grill.
I don't want to meet them.
A lot of great places to eat, sponsoring trees out here tonight. In memory of Maddox Carmine. In memory of Maddox Carmine Starr, dedicated by his loving family. As you can tell, a lot of community support here tonight with lots of trees. Our next tree is in honor of Christine Cooley Forrester, dedicated by Cooley's Jewelry.
Really nice people.
Our next tree is in memory of Mike Lofton. Always in our minds, always in our hearts, your loving family.
Catch you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, get up there.
Yeah, we're trying.
We got a crew, we gotta get it.
We're tight on the corner here.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Really, it's a great spot.
Yeah.
When we're gone.
Our-
Do I go over there? Yeah, let's go back over there. I'll get y'all.
Mind going up there?
Oh, that's good.
Our next tree, in memory of Kira Lynn Jones,
It'll be on our Facebook
and
page.
Terry, Cadence, Lucas, Parker, and Kelly.
Thank you guys. Get up.
Our next tree is sponsored by
Get closer so we don't. Oh, that's nice.
our next tree, in memory of Richard Dick Moore, dedicated by the family, Elaine, Pam, and Clayton Moore. Our next tree, sponsored by Dr. Matthew Christopher. Our next tree, in memory of Marcia Garr, dedicated by Richard and Beverly Zila.
You guys want up there with your pictures? Get up there. I know you guys.
Remember the parade coming up at 7 o'clock tonight? Our next picture, in honor of tree, in honor of Timothy John and Terry Sue Gordon, dedicated by Ted and Kate Gordon. Our next tree, in loving memory of Sherry Machino, Nanny, dedicated by Kathy Bear,
You guys want your
and
picture?
family.
You want your picture?
The whole Machino family, right? There we go.
All right. Bunch of machine.
Our next tree dedicated to Dick and Dory West, sponsored by Bill and Bobby West.
Isn't the parade at 7:30?
7. Oh, I don't know.
I think it's 7:30.
7:30.
I've been posting it all week.
Well, then you'll know.
parade 7:30.
My Coldwater, right?
Yeah, you don't have to announce
Oh,
it.
that's all right.
You want to check things out at My Coldwater on Facebook. Sponsored by Pro Medica Coldwater Regional Hospital, the next tree. Our next tree, in memory of Nancy Zabolski, dedicated by the Loving Family. Our next tree is sponsored by Meraki Studio. Our next tree is sponsored by ProMedica Behavioral Health Department. Our next tree is sponsored by Competition Performance Products over in Brunson. And our next tree is sponsored by Don, Sue, Allie, and Kyle Gurman.
All right. That came out great. All right. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would sure like to thank everybody for coming out here today, or tonight, I'd say. Coming out, there's so many lights out here, it's like daylight. Anyway, again, a lot of help to put something like this on. It just decorates our beautiful town and downtown. And again, thank you for coming out and supporting the Lights of Love, the Coldwater Lions.